My name is Elena Morris. I'm 37 years old, and I live in Portland, Oregon, USA. Before everything happened, my life was quiet, ordinary in every way. I worked as a nurse in a small hospital, taking care of patients who reminded me daily of how fragile life really is. I had a husband, Daniel, and a little daughter, Grace, who was 6. We weren't perfect, but we were trying to hold on to each other, trying to believe that love and routine were enough to fill the emptiness I sometimes felt inside. Every morning I woke up before sunrise. The smell of coffee, the soft hum of the refrigerator, the sleepy silence before my daughter's laughter, all of it was so normal, so safe. Yet deep inside, I often felt like I was drifting through life, as if something or someone was missing. I prayed sometimes, not because I was deeply religious, but because I wanted to believe there was more. I wanted to feel God, not just think about Him. But the truth is, I didn't. Not really. I used to look at my patients, some of them dying, and wonder, what happens next? Where do they go when their breath stops? Is there light? Is there peace? Or is it just nothingness? I tried not to think about it too much. Life was busy enough. Bills, work, a child to raise, a marriage that sometimes felt like 2 ships passing in the fog. But looking back now, I realized that something in my spirit had already begun to prepare me. I started to feel strange dreams, visions of the sky turning dark, of people crying out, of a great silence falling over the earth. I told myself they were just dreams, but they weren't. They were warnings, and I didn't understand them, not until the night everything changed. Even before the accident, there was a heaviness inside me that I couldn't explain. I smiled for everyone, for my daughter, for my patients, even for Daniel. But at night, when the house was silent and the lights were off, a strange emptiness filled my chest. I would lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if God had forgotten me, or if maybe I had forgotten Him. I wanted to believe. I really did. But faith felt like a story I was trying to convince myself was true. I kept asking, why can't I feel you, Lord? Why does heaven feel so far away? Sometimes I'd drive home from work in the rain, watching the city lights blur through the windshield, thinking about how fragile everything was. One breath, one heartbeat, 1 second, and everything could end. I saw people die every week at the hospital. Their families would cry and I'd tell them they're in a better place. But deep down I didn't know. I hoped, but I didn't know. It was a silent battle between my reason and my soul. I kept pushing it away, busying myself with work and family. But something inside me was cracking, a longing, a whisper, a pull toward something beyond this world. Looking back, I believe that's when heaven began calling me. Not with thunder or lightning, but with that quiet ache that wouldn't go away. The kind of ache that only God can fill. Barisam, I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt that same emptiness? That longing for something greater, even when your life looks fine on the outside? Write in the comments. Do you believe God still calls us through our pain? The day of the accident. It was a Friday evening, the end of another long week. The rain had finally stopped, and the streets were slick with the reflection of city lights. I was tired, my eyes burning from the hospital's fluorescent glow. I remember thinking about what to cook for dinner, whether Grace had finished her homework, and if Daniel would be home on time. Just normal thoughts. Ordinary moments before eternity opened. I was driving home when it happened. A truck speeding through a red light. A flash of headlights. A sound. Deafening, metallic, final. I felt the world explode around me. The steering wheel slammed against my chest. The glass shattered into 1,000 stars. Time seemed to slow. My breath left me. And then, there was nothing. No pain, no sound, just silence. I tried to breathe, but the air wouldn't come. I felt my heartbeat fade, like a drum slowing to its final beat. And then, a strange calm, a warmth spreading through my body, as if invisible hands were cradling me, whispering, "It's okay. Let go." In that instant, I knew I was dying, but I wasn't afraid. It was as if all the noise, all the fear, all the pain of my life was dissolving, melting away into light. I remember seeing the scene below me, the twisted metal, the flashing lights, the paramedics rushing. I saw my own body, still, pale, lifeless. And yet, I was there, watching, thinking, how can I be outside myself? How can I see when my eyes are closed? I didn't understand it then, but that was the moment I left the world behind and stepped into eternity. Bite on it or tell me in the comments. Have you ever had a near-death experience or felt something you couldn't explain? Something that made you believe life doesn't end here? Share your story or thoughts. I read everyone. At first, I thought I was dreaming. The chaos below me, the flashing ambulance lights, the shouting voices, all of it started to fade, as if someone was turning down the volume of the world. Then, silence. A deep, golden silence that felt alive. I wasn't in my body anymore. I was floating, weightless, free, surrounded by a soft radiance that shimmered like liquid light. There was no pain, no fear, only the overwhelming feeling of being home. It's strange to say that, home, because I had never been there before. But I knew, somehow, that this was where I came from, and where I truly belonged. I looked down and saw my car, crumpled and still. My body lay inside, broken, motionless. But I didn't feel sadness. I felt compassion for that shell, for the version of me that had carried so much doubt, so much exhaustion. Then something pulled my attention upward. A glow, brighter than any light I'd ever seen. It wasn't blinding. It was alive, and it felt like love itself was calling my name. Elena. The sound was not heard with ears, but felt within my soul. Each syllable was a vibration of peace. I began to drift toward it, and the farther I went, the more the world below disappeared. The light grew closer, and I knew, without words, that I was crossing the veil between the world of the living and the eternal. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of death. I was in awe of it, because death was not the end. It was the beginning of something far greater than I could ever imagine. Igia more now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe our souls continue after death? Write in the comments. What do you think happens the moment we take our last breath? The light and the presence. As I moved closer to the light, I felt waves of warmth and love surrounding me. Not like the love we feel on Earth, fragile and uncertain, but something infinite, steady, alive. Every fear, every regret, every pain I had ever carried was melting away in that brilliance. I was becoming light myself. Then I saw him. At first, I couldn't look directly. The radiance was so pure that it filled everything. Yet somehow, I could sense his presence before I saw his face. When I finally lifted my gaze, I saw eyes that were not just looking at me, but through me. Eyes that knew everything I had ever done, thought, or felt, and still loved me completely. It was Jesus. Not as an image or a painting, but living light, gentle and powerful at once. He didn't speak at first. He just smiled. And that smile felt like eternity embracing me. Then his voice, soft but filled with the authority of heaven itself. My child, you are loved beyond measure. You were never alone, not for a single moment. I fell to my knees, though I had no physical body. My soul trembled before him. All I could say was, I'm sorry. I doubted you. I lost faith. He reached out his hand, and not flesh but radiant energy, and touched me. The moment he did, I saw my whole life in flashes of light. My birth, my laughter, my sins, my kindness, my tears. But instead of judgment, there was mercy. Instead of shame, there was understanding. And in that holy silence, he whispered something that would change everything. You must return. They are not ready. The words struck through me like lightning. They are not ready. Who? Why? What did he mean? Before I could ask, the light around us began to tremble. Not with fear, but with urgency. I felt that the world was standing on the edge of something immense. And I understood that what he showed me next would be a warning for all humanity. Now it's your turn to share. What do you think Jesus meant when he said, they are not ready? Write your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might touch someone's heart today. They are not ready, his voice. His words echoed through my soul, each one carrying weight beyond anything human language could hold. They are not ready. It wasn't anger in his tone. It was sorrow, a holy sadness that pierced through every part of me. I asked him, not with my mouth, but with my heart. Not ready for what, Lord? And he answered, his voice like thunder wrapped in compassion, for what is coming, for the purification that must come upon the earth. I felt a wave of light move through me, and suddenly I saw visions, rapid burning flashes that no human mind could fully contain. I saw cities in chaos, people running, crying, confused. I saw the sky darken, as if the sun itself was hiding. I saw storms, earthquakes, fires, and then silence. 3 long days of silence. Darkness will cover the world, Jesus said, and only those who have prepared their hearts will not fear. Many call my name, but few truly know me. They live for this world, not for the one to come. They are not ready. Tears flowed from my spirit. I saw families kneeling in candlelight, praying with trembling hands. Others mocked, disbelieved, too attached to their screens, their pleasures, their pride. And through it all, I felt his deep sadness, not for punishment, but for the souls he loved so much. Tell them, he said, to seek me now, while there is still light. Tell them to cleanse their hearts. The time is short. The darkness will test all faith. And then I understood. I had not been shown these things to terrify, but to awaken. His mercy was still greater than the warning itself. When he looked at me again, his eyes burned with both love and urgency. Go back, Elena. Speak what you have seen. Many will not listen, but some will. And those who do will be ready when the darkness falls. I want to ask you, from your heart, do you believe the world is ready for what's coming? Write in the comments, yes or no, and tell me why. Your words might open someone's eyes today. Visions of the 3 days of darkness. When Jesus stretched out his hand, light burst from it, brighter than 1,000 suns. In that instant, the visions came, flooding my spirit like a storm of truth I could neither stop nor fully comprehend. I saw the sky turning black, not like the night we know, but like a living shadow that swallowed everything. The sun disappeared, the moon gave no light, and the stars fell as if the heavens themselves were trembling. Then came the silence, thick, heavy, unbearable. No birds, no wind, no voices, only the sound of hearts beating in fear. People ran through the streets, shouting for help, but no one could see beyond the darkness. Those who tried to leave their homes were taken by shapes, dark, moving forms that fed on terror. Jesus' voice echoed through the vision. Do not open your doors. Do not look outside. The light of your faith will protect you. I saw homes glowing softly from within, candles flickering, families praying together, whispering the name of Jesus as the world outside screamed. In those houses, there was peace. Outside, chaos. Then I saw something even more powerful. The angels of God descending, shielding the faithful, placing marks of light on their foreheads. And over it all, I heard his voice again. Those who cling to me will not perish. Those who mock will cry out for light and find only the echo of their own disbelief. 3 days. 3 days when time itself would seem to stop. And then, as suddenly as it began, I saw the sun return, the air shimmering, the earth renewed. The survivors stepped out, trembling but alive, their hearts forever changed. And I understood. It was not destruction, it was purification. But inside, then now I want to ask you, if such darkness came upon the world, where would your faith stand? Write in the comments. Would you trust in God, even when you can't see the light? When the visions faded, I was still surrounded by that radiant light, and by him. Jesus looked at me with eyes full of both mercy and sorrow. I didn't want to leave. Every part of my being longed to stay in that peace, that love that wrapped around me like eternity itself. Please, I whispered in my heart, don't send me back. Let me stay here with you. He smiled gently. Elena, it is not your time. There are words that only you can speak, souls that only you can reach. Go back and tell them what you have seen. Tell them that I am coming. Before I could answer, the light began to pull away, slowly at first, then faster. The warmth, the music, the peace, all of it started to fade. I felt myself falling, as though I was being pulled through a tunnel of shadows and air. Then came the pain, the unbearable, crushing pain of being shoved back into a broken, fragile body. I gasped, coughing, choking on air. Voices screamed around me, paramedics shouting, machines beeping. Someone yelled, "We've got her back!" But I didn't feel back. I felt trapped. My soul was too big for this fragile body. My eyes opened, but nothing felt the same. The world looked dimmer, heavier. I had touched heaven, and now I was back in the noise and chaos of earth. Tears streamed down my face as I whispered, "Why me, Lord? Why send me back?" And deep within, I heard his reply, "Because they still need to hear." I want to ask you something deeply personal. If God sent you back from death with a message for the world, would you have the courage to share it? Write your answer in the comments. I truly want to know what your heart says. The burden of the message. The hospital room was quiet except for the steady beep of the monitor. Daniel sat beside me, holding my hand with eyes full of fear and confusion. Grace had been kept at home with my sister. She was too young to see me like this. I had survived, but I wasn't the same woman who had left for work that morning. For days, I barely spoke. My body healed slowly, but my spirit felt raw, torn open by what I had seen. How could I explain it to anyone? How could I describe light so alive, a voice so holy, vision so terrifying and beautiful at the same time? When I tried to tell Daniel, he stared at me, searching my eyes. Maybe it was the medication, he said softly. A hallucination. You were in a coma. I shook my head. No, it was real. He was real. And he said, they are not ready. Some friends nodded politely. Others rolled their eyes, thinking I'd gone crazy. At night, I would wake up crying, hearing his voice echoing in my dreams. Tell them, time is short. But how? How do you tell a world that scrolls through screens, mocks faith, and fills itself with noise? That darkness is coming and hearts must be ready. The burden felt heavier than my own body. Yet, even in my trembling, I knew this. I had been chosen, not because I was worthy, but because I was willing. And somehow, even if no one believed me, I had to speak. Even if my voice shook, even if I stood alone, I began writing down everything. The visions, the words, the warnings. I prayed for courage. And slowly, the fear began to turn into fire. A fire to warn, to wake, to prepare. I want to hear from you honestly. If someone you love came back from death with a warning like this, would you believe them? Write in the comments, yes or no, and explain why. Your insight may help others. It's been 3 years since the day I died, and yet, that moment, the light, the voice, the visions, lives inside me like a heartbeat that never fades. I've shared my story hundreds of times now. Some listen and weep. Others laugh or call me delusional. But I don't tell this story for attention. I tell it because I promised him I would. The words, they are not ready, echo through me every day. I see a world racing faster and faster toward distraction, anger, division, and fear, hearts growing colder while the earth trembles, people chasing everything except the one thing that matters, the state of their souls. Jesus didn't show me darkness to frighten me. He showed me love so deep that even in judgment there is mercy. He showed me that the 3 days of darkness are not punishment, but a divine pause, a moment for humanity to see itself and to choose, light or shadow, faith or fear. He told me, tell them that I love them still. Tell them to seek me now, before the light fades. So here I am, still trembling, still human, but speaking because I must. The time for doubt is over. The time for turning our hearts back to God is now. If you're hearing this, I want you to know, you are not too far gone. No matter your past, no matter your pain, He sees you. He waits for you, and His arms are still open. I don't know when the darkness will come, but I know this. The light inside you can never be taken unless you give it away. Hold on to faith, pray, forgive, love deeply, and when the world grows dark, let your heart be the candle that never goes out. Now I ask you with all my heart, do you feel ready, spiritually, emotionally, truly ready for whatever is coming? Write your answer in the comments. And if this story touched you, share it. Let's awaken as many hearts as we can, together. If you believe in hope, in faith, and in light stronger than darkness, subscribe, stay with us, and keep watching. Because the message isn't just mine, it's for all of us. When I look back on it all, the accident, the light, the message, I realized that my story was never about death. It was about awakening. Heaven showed me that even when the world trembles, even when darkness falls, God's mercy still reaches for us, one heart at a time. I learned that the greatest miracle is not coming back from death. It's learning to truly live, with love, with faith, with eternity in mind. Every sunrise now feels like a gift. Every person I meet, a soul worth saving. And though I still carry the burden of that message, they are not ready, I also carry the promise that hope is never lost, not while even one person turns their face toward the light. So if you've watched this far, please don't let this be just another story. Let it be a call, a whisper from heaven reminding you that your life has purpose, that your heart still matters, and that the light of God is waiting for you to open your eyes. Now, it's your turn. Have you ever felt that God was calling you to change, to awaken, to forgive, to prepare? Write your thoughts in the comments. Your story might be the light someone else needs today. If this message touched you, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and help spread light in a dark world. Because one day, when the darkness falls, only love will remain.